Hey guys, it's Brian Mayer with the Mayer Group of eXp Realty, celebrating 5 years in the real estate business. And I was just scrolling through Facebook a little while ago and I saw a post where somebody asked the question, how do you deal with the stress in real estate? And there were 400 comments inside of just a couple of hours. And this post was incredible. I mean, it was so many comments on there that it just made me realize how much of an important subject it is to talk about this. So I literally spent about 6 months of my life just focused on this exact subject, because on one hand I was having a lot of success and I really enjoyed this job immensely. Like I still do today. I feel like I love it. I love many, many things about this business. On the other hand, there are some extreme challenges to this business, even if you're very successful. And the first piece of advice that I'll give you is that you have to know this is what you signed up for when you became a real estate agent. So when you're dealing with clients, they are in a very unique situation that they're not in almost any other time of their life. And what I mean by that is you're dealing with somebody who is moving shelters for their family, like what they drive home to, where they sleep, where they eat, where they spend the majority of their time. And the largest financial decision of their lifetime is all encompassed in a house. And it means so many different things for so many different people, but it's always a big deal. It's never not a big deal unless you're dealing with an investor, and it's just a whole nother situation. But for most people, this is the biggest deal in their life, probably outside of births, deaths, marriages, divorces. This is probably the biggest thing going on in their life, and it's probably the biggest thing that deals with an outside person in most people's cases. So what I'm saying is people act differently during this time than they normally act. And it's really unfortunate that a lot of people's relationships gets messed up during this process, and it just can really get stressful. Even if nobody did anything intentionally, just circumstances can create a scenario where people will just get off of the rocker. And the other thing that I'll say, and this is just something I've learned, and I believe it to my core, is that money makes a large percentage of people act crazy. And just to put that into context, I am primarily a listing agent, and when I'm dealing with a home seller who is faced with the house they're selling dictates the type of retirement they have, and they feel like that people are taking things from them when they're asking for repairs, or that the house isn't selling for what they thought it was, and that's because the realtor doesn't appreciate all the stuff that they've done to get their house ready, or all the money they've spent on it. And all of these things come together, and people's relationships with money is sometimes very challenging, and there's no way around it. Even if things go great, there are definitely processes that you can use and techniques. And if you listen to my other podcasts or watch my videos about selling houses for more money in my home selling process, it literally takes away 80% of that. But the fact of the matter is, you're just dealing with people that are in a very unique position in their life, and people don't always handle it very well. The next thing I'll say is, for new real estate agents or any real estate agents that don't do a lot of business, is that you tend to attract lower quality clientele. You're dealing with people that are less qualified and that are maybe less comfortable dealing with somebody who operates on a high level. And it's somewhat common sense, but it didn't necessarily occur to me in the beginning that that's what was happening. So my third year in the business, or I was actually only 2 years in the business, my wife was 2.5. We got extremely busy. I had 13 transactions going at the same time, and we had 4 or 5 of them fall out all in a very short window. And I was like in the fetal position in bed, just freaking out. And I felt like, I don't know what to do. This is driving me crazy. And that's when I set out to figure out how to solve that problem. And I've known seasoned agents that said they just can't take it anymore and they just had to get out of the business. People that were doing $20 million a year I talked to, and they just said, I can't deal with it anymore. Like, you could tell that the nerves had just been rubbed raw, and that if anybody else told them off or just kind of yelled at them or put them down unnecessarily, that they just felt like they couldn't take it anymore and, you know, walk away from, you know, $400,000 or $500,000 a year income just over the stress. So again, going back to when you're a new real estate agent, you end up dealing with the people that don't feel comfortable reaching out to top dog real estate agents, because maybe they're not well qualified, or maybe the house they're buying isn't expensive enough, or maybe their reality in their life and their lifestyle is so chaotic that they're embarrassed to be around somebody who makes $400,000 a year and drives a nice Mercedes, and all of that stuff can be very intimidating. And I think sometimes people feel more comfortable dealing with people that are more like them. And if you don't make a lot of money and you don't drive a real nice car, you might feel more comfortable working with a real estate agent that doesn't make a lot of money, who doesn't drive a real nice car, because that person's more like you. It just makes sense. So as you move up and you drive a nicer car and you make more money and you're perceived in the marketplace as a higher caliber agent, sometimes your lower end quality clientele start calling other realtors, and sometimes that can hurt your feelings. But then you're dealing with some doctors and people that own businesses that make a lot of money, and you're dealing with people that aren't as chaotic to deal with, and that's very refreshing. So if I can give you any hope, it's like, just hang in there, stay focused, and then work your way up to dealing with better clients. All right, the next thing that can really stress you out is money. And the fact that so it depends on everybody's situation. Maybe you have a spouse who makes a lot of money and you're doing this for side income. A lot of people aren't, and what I find is that a lot of people are using real estate, like myself, as a primary source of income, or it's still a necessary income. And when a deal falls apart and you don't have 3 or 4 in the pipeline behind it, or you haven't had any close in a long time, not having money, and even sometimes having too much money, can really cause a lot of chaos in your life. So I came from a job, I came out of the mortgage business, so I was already used to it. But just getting into the mortgage business out of a job where I got paid every 2 weeks the exact same amount of money on the exact same day, and if I showed up late to work, I wasn't getting fired, and it didn't affect my pay at all whatsoever. And if I did great, I got paid the same. If I was slacking off, I got paid the same. It didn't matter. But in real estate, you have a couple bad months and you string out a series of 1 settlement, 2 settlement months together, and you start getting tight on bills. It will stress out your marriage, it'll stress out your life, and then you throw in taxes and the IRS coming after you and all that. Like, the money part of real estate agents or real estate can really mess up your life as a real estate agent. And if you're not used to it, or if you don't handle your money very well, it can add multiple layers of chaos into your life and really make what could be a very great job become very stressful. And I see this happen when I'm dealing with real estate agents that don't do a lot of business, and the deal starts to fall apart. They start acting like those clients that I was just describing, because, sorry, my Throat's dry. Actually recorded this already twice, but I didn't like the previous two, so this is my third take. But when a real estate agent doesn't make a lot of money and their life's not all together, and this paycheck represents all the money they've gotten in the past 60 days, and they need this to make mortgage payments, rent, and car payments, and the deal starts to fall apart because of whatever reason, and they start to freak out and they'll start blaming other people, and then you'll find that sometimes other agents can be just as crazy as the clients. And just like the money drives the clients crazy, the money drives real estate agents crazy. And God forbid you try to come in between a real estate agent and one of their clients that they thought they already had, or they think that you're trying to take their client, or they thought they had a client, they end up using you, or whatever it is. Like, you can just see very ugly sides of people, and that's another, cause of stress. The last thing I want to leave you with is kind of going back to what I said in the beginning, and that is that you if this job was easier, you wouldn't get paid as much as you do. So as a listing agent, most of my deals I charge 6%. My average sales price is $330,000, or just right above it. 6% of $330,000 is $20,000. So you pay me as the listing agent to pay the buyer's agent. Essentially, you're paying me first. You're giving me $20,000 to help you sell your house. That is a crazy amount of money. And that's the reason why when someone put on Facebook yesterday, hey, I'm looking for a real estate agent to help me sell my house, they got 30 comments inside of like 5 minutes. Like boom, 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 boom. I mean, as soon as you looked at it, it was like someone's typing, like bing, 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 bing. There's so many real estate agents trying to scratch a living, and it is so competitive. But the reason why is because there's nowhere else you can go to put in this amount of effort with this amount of training, to do 60 hours of coursework, to then turn around and sit across from somebody at their kitchen table and say, yes, I would love to help you sell your house. I charge $20,000 to do that. And I've been trained for 60 hours. And none of that training had anything to do with helping you sell your house. But hey, we have this little marketing plan that I'm going to show you on my iPad. It's like, right? In order to be able to do that, you have to understand that you're getting paid a ridiculous amount of money to do your job. Now, I do think I bring the value and all that good stuff, but keep it in mind, guys, it is worth it. It's worth going through the pain. It's worth learning this job. And if you're really, really, really struggling, my suggestion is that you get somebody to work with you to help take that burden off of you. Align yourself with anybody, with a team or with a mentor. And that's my biggest advice for a new agent anyway, as I'm wrapping up, is to get yourself a mentor. I did another video on that the other day. Make sure you check it out. And if you are considering looking for somebody to help you in that way, I would love the opportunity to have a conversation with you. I actually have some things coming up that I'm going to be partnering with some agents to kind of help them through some of this stuff. I've spent a lot of time thinking about it, and I have a lot of ways that I've figured out that will help agents not have to be so stressed out all the time. And really it has a lot to do with how you handle clients, especially on the listing side, but also on the buyer side, that keeps you out of this chaotic environment. So go ahead and reach out to me if you'd like to talk and see if maybe we might be a good fit on a little partnership that I'm working on. My name is Brian Mayer with the Mayer Group at eXp Realty, celebrating 5 years in real estate and talking about how to deal with the stress of being a realtor. Make it a great day.